Boker Tov. We continue with our 3-minute daily dose of Torah. Looking at the verse in Parshat Shoftim, chapter 19, verse 14. We began studying it yesterday. Lo tasig re'acha, the prohibition against adjusting the border. Says Rashi. What does this mean? Shemachazir siman chalukat hakarka la'achor latoch sadecha beirao leman herchibet shalo. It is anyone who will sneakily go out and shift the borderline between himself and another, and whatever his property line is, in order that he should expand his own property. It says Rashi, V'halo kvar ne'amar lo tigzol. What do you need a pasuk to tell you that, says Rashi? That's basically just plain old theft. Why need a special pasuk to describe this type of theft, where you can go out and think about the scenario, right? People just had little markers. You didn't always have a survey handy, and you have little markers that were in the ground. So when your neighbor's away, you sneak out and you just shift it over a little bit. I think about the interesting dynamics that when I was growing up with our neighbor, it was fine, right? It was fine, and I don't think we ever really had a clear sense of exactly where the border was between ourselves and the Salisburys, the Jewish Salisburys. And so, what are the ways in which you lay claim to a piece of property? So one way is with actual border markers that you would have there, and you can shift them around. The other way is cutting the grass. And so I just remember I don't know all the details anymore, but it's just from my childhood, when I was in charge of cutting grass, there was one swath of land there that got cut twice a week. They cut it and we cut it, and they cut it and we cut it, and it was some type of passive aggressive behavior, maybe. Kind of each of us saying, hey, we consider this our land, our karka. But the Torah's discussion here obviously is where you know where the border is, and you sneak. So then why tell us? Why tell us this avera especially? It was basically just don't steal. So somehow you're supposed to know this is like an extra transgression. It is stealing, and on top of stealing, it's just an extra transgression. It kind of leaves you wondering, so why have the extra transgression? But I guess there's something so insidious and so sneaky about it that the Torah was somehow honing in on this individually. But interestingly, Rashi says, "But yachol afa chutz la'aretz." This you'd say then, okay, this is a halacha that shouldn't be anywhere. We're talking about just stealing. So the verse in the end says, "Benachatcha shetinchal," etc. Be'eretz Yisrael over b'shnei lav, and only in Israel. And maybe it has to then say it's not just about being sneaky, but it's a variation on the Rambam we learned yesterday, which shows that you're dissatisfied with the official distribution of the land. But maybe, I'm wondering, we read this Rashi to say that, look, Eretz Yisrael is holy, and the earth itself feels everything that happens on it. And when you transgress and you sin through the earth, you try to steal from your neighbor with the earth itself. So there's an extra transgression that's conveyed there, that maybe is embodied in the Kedushat Haaretz, in the sanctity of the land of Israel. We'll continue to the other rabbinic interpretation for this tomorrow.